World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Good afternoon. Tony Rogers, your host for Urbanology, the Art of War. And for those who may be new to this show, my name is William Anthony Rogers, and the Art of War is kind of a play on my name. Plus, for many of the viewers, they know that Sun Tzu, The Art of War, was one of my favorite books. I taught it at City College, and I still try to study it as much as I can and making it a way of life. Nevertheless, we're in a new year. This is a number one year. If you were able to catch Lord Strayhorn on my show a couple of weeks ago, he indicated that 2026 is a number one year. So to look at creating whatever you want to create, because this is a beginning. It goes up to numerology goes up to 9, and this is a number one year, and number one is the time for creating. I am talking about creating or being creative. My guest today is a person that I've known for a number of years. We don't talk about age a lot of times, especially when those years are piled up. But I have respected her. I've always, because she looks so good, I've always was attracted to her. But from seeing her, with Roger Furman and the New Heritage Theater, and doing everything, all the work that one might be able to do to produce a show in a Black theater at a certain time of this century. From now then seeing her on TV, seeing her in the movies, and also seeing her on stage because she's one of the funniest sisters that you can find and always been that way. I mean, that's Phyllis. I mean, you know, that when you see her on stage a lot, you're seeing Phyllis. And one of the things that she has done, which I also admire, is to be able to tell stories. There are different people who are in, especially from the diaspora, who learned how to tell their stories in a way that makes you laugh, but a lot of times, if you had to talk about it, you wouldn't. So she's coming back to New York, and whenever I get a call that my sister is coming back in town, I'll do my best to let people know when and where that is because she's when we talk about the second Harlem Renaissance, you'll hear about Yvonne, Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. That'll be a name that stands out in the arts. And please help me welcome my sister who's coming back to New York, Phyllis Yvonne Stickney.
Modukwe, Modukwe. Thank you so much.
See how beautiful she is. Now, when I first saw her, I mean, before I knew who she was, I was saying,
Who that little child? Who that little chocolate child?
And I got to tell you, that was a number of years ago. So they say black no crack.
Listen, I'm not playing with him. I'm not playing with him. I'm not playing with
How
him.
you doing, Phyllis?
I am grateful. Thank you so much, Tony. I always appreciate you and Matt for making this space available to me. I thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Made it another year, made it some more time. Got some more time. So I'm ready to tell the stories and pass on some of the legacy.
Tell us, or tell them, because we know a little bit about who you are and what you have done so that they can appreciate what you're going to be saying after they know who you are and what you have done.
Well, let me just say, I started in the theater, right? I started in theater. I started in Harlem. So that's why I still have a love for Harlem and a commitment to
And
Harlem.
Harlem has love for you
Because
too.
Harlem gave me the opportunity through Roger Furman's New Heritage Theater. I had the opportunity to hone my craft, as it were, to discover what it was that I had, what it was to occupy the stage. And so that's where theater began for me. My development and tutelage under Roger Furman at New Heritage Theater. And so I stayed with that theater for 5 years until the next step in theater. It was Black Theater Experience for me. So a lot of people may remember me from the theater that are of a certain generation. They would remember the New Heritage, the Billie Holiday works. They would
Hmm.
remember just some of Carl Clay, working with Carl Clay, which is actually my first production. And then I left New York. Hollywood called. And after I'd had a pretty good resume in theater, also I was working in production, which a lot of people don't know because at that time we were told that you couldn't do above the line and below the line, which means you couldn't be in talent and production or
Hmm.
producer on the creative side. But I was. I was a student at Institute of New Cinema Artists at the same time that I was going at night to the New Heritage Theater uptown in Harlem. And so after I had a strong resume in both, I shared the information to each other. But I continued to work in production, which gave me a certain respect for the collaboration of the art form. As did theater, it is a
Hmm.
collaborative art form, and so I came to appreciate that. But the first thing that called me out of New York to Hollywood was a television show called um, Different World.
Hmm.
Different World with Lisa Bonet, Dawn Lewis, Marissa Tomei, um, Lou Myers, who actually came out of New Heritage Theater, was one of the cast members. He's now an ancestor. But I started on New Attitude. They actually hired my understudy Charnel Brown later when they were ready to replace me. Now that's a whole nother story. We were talking earlier about being richly melanated and what that means in Hollywood, what that does not mean in Hollywood. So, but I was one of the first from my line to go, if you will, before Essie Patha, who I loved. And people would ask me, who do I want to work with? Everyone that I knew and that I respected was still in New York doing theater. So
Mhm.
I left the New York theater stage, actually a production of uh, Death and the King's Horseman at Lincoln Center was the last show that I did, and left that production going to do A Different World. A
Mhm.
Different World was a short-lived experience for me. At that time, they were not quite ready for my Afrocentricity and my honesty. I was a little too black, too blackity black for them at that time. And then I had the audacity to want to wear my hair in its natural state. So that was something else.
Mhm.
But then New Attitude with Shirley Ralph and Morris Day came along. And so I did that for some episodes. You can see us now. And from then there, I went to do the Women of Brewster Place. The Women of Brewster Place with Oprah Winfrey as a producer and also as actor. Robin Givens, one of my EAs, the late great Cicely Tyson was also. So Women of Brewster Place. And then I went on to do New Jack City. Miss Hawkins from New Jack City. I have to know lines from that because every airport I fly through in America, if there's a black man in that airport, he's going to want me to do the scene. Were you or were you not head? I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, Miss Hawkins. So we did New Jack City. We did the Inkwell with the wonderful late Suzanne Douglas,
Mhm.
Glenn Turman, and then we did Malcolm X. Malcolm X, and then oh my God, the Inkwell. I think I said that the Inkwell, the Women of Brewster
Yeah.
Place. Let's look up what I did with it. Talking Dirty After Dark, which was Martin Lawrence's first feature film.
Mhm.
Um, and television, I was able to do Miss Pat show recently. Right now, I'm streaming on Crutch, Tracy Morgan's show, episodes 3 and 8. I tell them you don't have to go through the whole season if you don't want to. You can do episodes 3 and 8. And your girl getting it. I'm just
Didn't
saying.
you do something with Bruce Willis and one of those
Yeah. Oh,
that
thank you, thank you.
yeah,
Die Hard
Die
with a
Hard.
Vengeance. It's called Die Hard.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Something. I don't have my resume up on
Well,
her.
it's so many things that, and the point though, and you've made the point, this woman has, and we haven't talked going into some TV stuff,
Nah.
you
I
know,
mean, hey, Law and
there's,
Order.
if you watch TV, you know who she is because of the different things that she has played on the small screen. So, what many people, and I gotta love those movies. Yeah, well,
The iconic ones. That's what is off. These were the ones. Well, I say I have the dubious honor of being in New Jack City as Miss Hawkins, and even the story how I got that role. Because initially I was going to play Pookie, and you were not going to know Pookie was a female until I fell off the bike. That was a conversation between Doug McHenry, George Jackson, and myself. And of course, we know Chris Rock on the role. That was a disappointment for me.
you're fading out,
I'm,
Phyllis. I'm,
oh God, it's on.
I don't know whether you can hear
I
me.
wonder if can I hear you, but
I can't hear you.
I'm, I may have to go back to the phone.
Yeah,
I got the computer and I got the treat of seeing you, and but I may have to
well,
go back to the
Matt,
phone.
why don't you switch to me while Phyllis does what she needs to do,
Yes.
and I can continue the conversation as relates to the other component that we're going to talk about now when she does her one woman act on stage. I wanted you to get a feel of her if you did not know her, because you've probably seen her and not know who she was and who she is, which is most important. Because what brings pride, especially for us in Harlem, is that we see this woman, in the Die Hard movies and in the Malcolm X movies and in all of these movies. When she's walking down the street, she's Phyllis. you know, she has not changed the way she is, and when she's on stage, you get an understanding of what all of that has meant, which is part of what I'm going to talk to her about. What going through all of that stuff, going through theater in Harlem, going through Hollywood, going through TV, going through all these different genres. What is it that allow for you to? Because that's a hard journey, you know.
Yes. I don't know
It's
if
a
you can hear me, but I'm almost there. I
yeah.
don't know if
It's
you can hear me.
I can hear you and I can see you. It's a
Okay.
hard journey.
I'm going to go to switch to the other because I think that was better. Is that better?
Yeah, I got an echo again,
I'm,
kind of
I'm,
like
I'm
you in
coming out of
Grand
that.
Canyon.
I'm coming out of that. Give me one second. Give me a sec.
But and I'm like Sandman. Just let me know when I stop dancing. I'll keep on going until you pull the curtain. Now we can't hear you.
Okay.
Now we can hear you, but you need to come up
Okay.
some.
Am I? Are you got me now?
Yeah, I got you now, but I need to get
Okay.
you. You know how you need to come up a little bit.
Say that again.
This is not a Chinese kitchen commercial, so we need to see you.
Oh,
Your head. There you go.
listen, I'm not playing with you right now. Let me put this thing up here. Let me get that. I told y'all, listen. Listen,
Again,
there we go. Bam.
oh,
Did we
and
get it?
that's yeah,
Did
and
we get
that's
it?
my
Bam.
and you see how she works under
Bam.
pressure and how
That's how
she
we
does
do it.
what
It's
she
right
needs
here.
to do.
See, because in the theater, it's right
Nevertheless,
now. In the theater, it's
we're
right
back
now.
out
The theater is right now. What you were saying, I
right,
heard. So
and
how it all began for me. When I say the theater, that is the best training ground for any actor. I used to say there was, having auditions. Right now we do self tapes, which is a whole nother movie. However, when I got into this, the people that were on the stage, the people that I got a chance to see, Latanya Richardson, before she was Latanya Richardson Jackson, like I said, Surrette Scott, Essie Pathan Murkison, Mary Alice, Gloria Foster, the women that I got a chance to see, and I'm missing some names. Bea Richards, come on. I mean, Madge Sinclair, Rosalind Cash. These were the women, Ruby D, I call her Mom Ruby. These were women that I got to see what this discipline was, what this thing did, what it felt like, and what it was supposed to move like. And so there was a process that we learned to respect and identify as lesbians, as craftspeople, because it
mm,
is a craft. It
yeah.
is a craft. It has been abbreviated and diluted to the point where we think that the hookup is what it is, and we don't have to have any training or experience. Unfortunately, it parades now mediocrity as if it's brilliance. And so we've diluted the things that were once amazing. When you sat in that theater, when the house went to half and the house went out and the lights on that stage went up, there was something electric. There was something
Mhm.
happening. There was something going to happen, and it changed my life. That's why I'm doing it. So how many decades later? Because there was something real, that electricity, that frequency that was real, that we were experiencing just in that moment. There was no
Mhm.
camera. There was nothing to capture the moment. You have to be in the room to have that experience. You have to
Mhm.
be in the room to take that journey. And for all of us on that stage, all of us who move when they say places, and then those people in the audience, we've all agreed. That's the magic. We've all taken this agreement, this silent agreement, that we're going to suspend reality this next hour and 40 minutes, this next hour and a half, and we're going to go somewhere. And hopefully the place that we go, we get something when we're there. We learn something. We experience something. We answer a question or
And
raise a
that is
question that's
what
going to bring it to
we
act.
do, which I'm
And
going
that's
to
why
do. Okay,
I do what I do.
I'm siding with you, which is a segue, which is what I was going to say. It's a segue into you developing a one act comedy routine that has gone on for a while, and then you left, and then now you're coming back. What
Yes.
got you started? Why did you stop? And why are you coming back?
Well, I started. It's really, as you were saying, it's really the baseline of my personality.
Mhm.
Being the middle child, growing up the middle child. My sister was the baby, my brother was the first, and I was the middle. So I had to find my own way of, getting their attention, holding it, keeping it. And so humor. Humor was something that allowed me to deflect the negative comments. I thought, and so I flip it. Like I thought my name was Old Black Phyllis Stickney for a very long time because that's what they used to say. Well, you talking about Old Black Phyllis Stickney? When I was in high school, that's what I said. Having no boyfriend or anything like that because when I was, if somebody heard that I had a crush on so and so or I like so and so, the guy would say, "Who you talking about? Old Black Phyllis Stickney? Old Black Phyllis Stickney?" So now old Black Phyllis Stickney, right? So I grew up, as I was saying earlier, to be the best dancer, the smartest, the best dressed. I was going to be an overachiever because I wasn't pretty. I wasn't allowed to see beauty reflected in my mirror image. It wasn't supported. If I looked at all the things that were around me outside of my immediate family, I wasn't supported in media, in magazines, definitely not on television. And if we talked about that little rhyme. If you're white, you're right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, you're mellow. If you're black, get back, right?
Mhm.
And so unfortunately that seeped into the psyche of many of us, too many of us. And
Still
so
does.
still does. And so my comedy was birthed out of a voice to say, hey, look, this too, thank you. This too is fabulous. This too is beautiful. This too is real. As a matter of fact, it's the original reality. It's the original right here. I'm one of the indigenous, and so once I came to understand who I truly was, and it was New York where that was the Addis Ababa. That was my university. That was where I learned how people responded to me just moving in the streets. People were telling me what my I Ching was. You double E, double brightness. Oh, give me a reading over here. No, I don't read. Oh, yes, you do. And so all of this, the first time I saw Intozaki Shange and Reese Collins moving through the lobby of the public theater, dressed in all their wraps and flowing scarves and bells and beads and stones, and our beauty shone brighter than brilliant, resilient, uninterrupted seduction by the original movers and shakers. Because, see, we are the poetry, we are the orchestra, because we be polyrhythmic people. So put pep in your step, glide in your stride. It ain't too hip to glissade, change my do just for you. Love's in the air. Love's in the hair of the dancer as she spins and twirls in her own special world, casting spells and demons out. That's what
Now,
our
now,
dancing
now
theater is all about.
you there are two things, Phyllis. One, you said that you're going to start publishing your poetry because that's something that you that's another side that a lot of people, and I saw how you kind of put that there because we're going to talk about that because people been, as you know, saying, Phyllis, when are you going to publish this stuff? When are you going to put this stuff out
What
there?
you gonna put this year?
I
This is the
understand.
year.
I
This is the
understand that
year.
this is the year that that's going to come out. However,
Well,
I
that
will.
book actually is out, but we're doing others. That book, well, I say out. I publish it. We're going to do a reprinting. You know, it was called "Loud Thoughts for Quiet Moments" because these poems came out of, or these pieces came out of my journaling. This was just me talking to myself and to the universe through the ancestors' vessel about what was happening in my observation. And so
Mm,
that's a piece of a poem that I wrote. But
mhm.
and actually, like I said, it was my journal. And at the end of the show, Renee McLean at the time, I was at the Cotton Club every Thursday night. I was at the Cotton Club in the village of Harlem. Renee McLean was my musical director. The beautiful jazz artist, saxophonist Renee McLean was my musical director because before I got on stage, I didn't want to hear any other comedy. I didn't want my audience to have to clear out their palate. So I had music first. And the
Mhm.
last thing I would do was I would get on the stage with Renee and the band, and I would take my journal and I'd find something to read. And it was one of my dear friends who at that time was working with me, Kimberly Snodgrass, was like, "Yeah, you gotta publish that. You gotta put that in the book." Because people started asking, "Where can I get that poem? Where can I get that poem?" And I was so timid to share my thoughts because I was so judged.
who she thinks she is. Oh, she ain't all that. You know, it was just so much judgment on the little chocolate girl that I didn't want them to always hear my inner thoughts. And so the day that I was asked to, and I published Loud Thoughts for Quiet Moments, I actually did a CD because, like I said, talking about being ahead of your time. So, but I'm going to do those things. I have a new management, new agent. Ossie Bay Blake is. We met on the set of Crutch with Tracy Morgan, and he was at my, doing security for me, and I didn't even know it. I didn't even know he was there until I looked up, and there was a moment which we won't talk about today, but we'll talk about it, and not a negative, just how you take things that could be negative and turn them into a positive. Like I was saying to you before we got on, be positive. People ask me, how do you stay positive with all the things that you've been through? So what I'm coming back to New York and what I'm getting back on the stage to do is to talk about the journey. Even the name of the show, Still Funny, Still Fine. That's not egomania talking. That's really me letting this particular individual see what I did with what could have been a negative situation. Case in point, I tried my best to work at the comedy clubs. I really did. But my audience tends to be those that want to walk up, right? Because they want the experience, going out as an event. They want to see who's in the line, what they wear, and who they with. It's an experience. And I learned this from being at this Cotton Club for all that time. And long story short, I decided that I would do the comedy club. You say, how did it start for me? It was no space for me because of the colorism. I didn't work I never worked with Negro Ensemble Company as an actor. They had their chocolate girl, right? The one, LaTanya was the chocolate girl that was going to work there if there was going to be a chocolate girl in the cast. There were a couple of others, not deciding to be a singer or explore that aspect of it because of an experience I had with Nell Carter and Charlene Woodard when I saw them in what was it, Ain't Misbehaving on Broadway, and I looked into the audience and looked at the faces of those men and the way they were looking at the women. I never wanted to be looked at that way by a group of men that had once owned my ancestors or paid for the ships that sailed the sea. And so I made choices based on that. My comedy was as a result of, like I said, who I really am. And that was how I made my mama and my daddy and my sisters and my brothers laugh at home because I would see things a particular way. Or I had my way of walking and, whatever it was to elicit laughter. In school, it was a way to, like I said, deflect. But coming back now to tell the stories, to say, like, I had one of the things, my first mnemonic device, if you will, the first bit of material that I was known for was Power the Booty, right? Now, people really understood that was a healing moment for me. I had not a very positive experience, and I don't want to take it to a dark, but if you lose your virginity to rape, it's a different kind of conversation, number one. Number two, if that's how men see you, and that's what they want to talk about, is that. It was an uncomfortable place for me. And so I remember someone that I was dating at that just before this breakthrough happened. And he bought me this amazing pantsuit, and I boo-hooed when he asked me to wear it because it accentuated my derriere, which had been the thing that had gotten me assaulted. Me walking down the street in a pair of jeans. It's why I very seldom wear pants. Because that was to me and how that was introduced. And so when I flip that thing on stage, I say often, when it makes its way to the stage, I've healed over it. I've healed past it. And so that I remember the moment. I can go back and remember the day I was on stage because I don't work from a script. I don't have a set of material that I'm going to do. I pray and I go. That's the way it's always been. I've written a lot of stuff, but it's yet not made its way to the stage. And I'm hoping, I'm planning this year that's what I'm going to be able to go back to some of my journals and look at things that I wrote. What was my observation? What was I thinking about, talking about? And so I remember the moment that when his name was George Demel Brown had brought me this amazing pantsuit. And when he asked me to model it, I lost it. Now, I know I was fine. I might not have known it then, but now when I look back at pictures, I go, girl, you was fine, right? So,
Well, everybody else knew it. You might not.
well, but the beauty was that wasn't what I was selling, you know. That wasn't. I was grateful that I was able to develop from the inside out, because
Mhm,
I would say the person I am inside is beautiful.
mhm,
She's always the person I've been and I'm going to be, and she's beautiful. And I was talking about what I knew about me, what I
mhm,
knew about the inside of me, what
mhm,
I knew about the compassion of me, what I knew about the the humor of me. I knew all these things that people just judged on the surface. And if they just judged on the surface, they were missing out a whole lot. Comedy became my way of healing. That day that I said, there's power in booty. The booty will set you free. I'm not talking silicone injection. I'm not talking Fredericks of Hollywood. I'm talking standard equipment in our race, girls. That was a moment that, as I'm hearing myself say it, and I'm willing to strut, right? I was like, wow, that was a moment that I was no longer in denial about what the don't hate me because I'm fabulous. I mean, it was just that moment for me. I was able to step out of being that of ashamed. Don't look at me, because I know you're laughing at me. I know you're talking about me. So now I got to come back, because, as I say to the young girls, y'all wasn't paying attention. Y'all got it wrong. Y'all go out here buying booty. I didn't say go buy no booty. That was not the assignment. That was not the assignment. I did not say, because that's a lot of responsibility. And then I tell the truth, it's a lot of responsibility. You're just looking at one situation, because people talk about like that, I said, no, I have the personality. It doesn't, right? It's not gonna do nothing for you. You want to have an experience here. And so even the way I began to dress was to take that out of the conversation. When I started dressing in my traditional garb and wearing garments that were that my ancestors had walked, the Bering Strait, and had worn in every season, damask and chiffon and the lace and all of the beautiful fabrics that were mine, that were ours, that was a part of my legacy. So I dug deep into my own experience to find out what was like, what was in me that was in them. I wanted to represent those little black girls, those little chocolate brown girls, those little two black girls who had no one to tell them, you know how amazing you are. So if a picture was truly worth 1,000 words, I was gonna let them see it every time they saw me. I was gonna show it every time they saw me, right? And so that was just my personal way. Charlie Barnett, talking about the comedy journey. Charlie Barnett, who's now an ancestor, was the first person that I ever saw do stand-up comedy in the streets in Washington Square Park. And so,
mhm,
little known fact is that's actually where I was quote unquote discovered, was in Washington Square Park.
mhm,
Barry Malkin Associates was casting for the spinoff of the Cosby Show, and they'd heard about this little funny black girl that was in the park, and it was me. And they came and asked me to audition, and the rest, as they say, is history. I didn't have an agent or a manager. Now I can talk about it. I created my own agent. Her name was Bonnie Rosenthal, because the agent that I was trying to deal with told me that I wasn't right for the role, and I was like, oh my God, I was perplexed. How are you telling me? Let them tell me. Don't you tell me, darling. Let them tell me, darling. And so that next morning, after tossing and turning all night, I decided that I was going to make the call, and I was just going to change my, I was going to use a pseudonym. And it was Bonnie Rosenthal. Isn't she fabulous? Don't you love her? That was my favorite line when I was talking about Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. I'm calling about Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. How are you, darling? Don't you love her? Isn't she fabulous? Absolutely, absolutely. So, are we going to make a deal or what? That was my favorite line. And so, I had the audacity, I had the tenacity, but I had the ability, because I knew the business. And so now I'm getting a chance to come back. Still funny, still fine. Title of Still Funny, Still Fine. Still talking about beauty. Still really wanting to be a representation for not just the baby boomers and the Gen X's and the Gen Zs and the millennials. We just gonna hold a moratorium right now. We're gonna talk about millennials in a minute, okay? Just for a moment. Just gonna hold out on that. Okay, we got to hold off on the Gen Z and the Gen X's, and I think they all possessed, but we ain't gonna talk about it right now. I have never, you gonna kill your mama because she gonna let you talk on the telephone. You gonna kill your mama and your daddy and everybody in the house because you can't go on to the internet. So that's why I had to come back. We need some more big mama and them conversations up in the house. Them babies done lost their natural minds. And so that's why I had to come back. I had to let them know that I did not mean silicone injection. I didn't mean y'all go out here and buy some booty, because if that booty starts leaking, you add on booty. What if it starts leaking and you got booty on the knees, or ass on the knees, as it may be called, or ass on the ankles? It's not an attractive thing. So we have to start recalibrating and redefining what I meant. Because when hoes is telling hoes to put on clothes, we're in a situation, y'all. We are in a situation.
You know something, Phyllis? In listening to you, one of the things, as you know, I am now an ambassador to Northern Ghana. And Northern Ghana is interesting because they're the ones that ran out the colonizers, the British. And for 100 years, the British did not give them any type of resources, didn't give them any type of education, and it was only when Kwame Nkrumah came in that it opened again. The benefit of that, there's a yin and yang, but when you go up north, they haven't been colonialized. They everything that you're saying is how they live. It's not pretending. It's not going to the store and buying a dashiki and you black. It's something that they just were not aware of, even to the point where if you go to Accra and you ask someone who is in Accra, do you ever go north? Oh no, we don't go to north. We haven't been up there. That has created. That's why we do a festival there every year. Now we're doing a lot of other work, and they made me a chief as an ambassador to begin to tell people, if you want to see a culture that hadn't been touched, someone who would look at you now and say that you're a queen without the stuff that people say when they think that they want to get over, but coming from where they are. And as I listen to you, I'm saying to you, what could have happened if young black sisters and black men could have been in an environment that was not subjected to the colonialization of who you are, what you look like, or whatever. To be in a situation that what you look like from them, which is ugly, to be in a place where everybody looks like that and is beautiful and ain't nothing wrong. And what are you talking about? I don't even know what black is. That's why when I came back, they said, Tony, when you come back, you got to make sure you let people know that they are not African Americans. They are Africans who were born in America. And
yes, that was one of the
things. And what you're talking about is something that I guess it may be spirit, it may be the ancestors, how they have come into you. But what you're talking about is experience in the North. And I was listening to you and I was saying, wow, there's something magical about how energy can move across the world, across time. And you have, you are that African woman. And I know you haven't been where the North is, because most people haven't been where the North is. But the fact of the matter is that without you knowing it, it's just you represent what going back, people would see and they would say, wow. They would look at you in such a way because the few that they do see have changed because they've been so colonialized
Been
that
so
even when they
colonial.
go to North, they look at them and
Yeah, that's a it's a sad poison. It's a sad poison. I just want to be able to, my strength, my power, my the courage to be. I remember going through the locks, the experience of starting locks, and how that really made me get in touch with who I am, and learn to appreciate the curl in my hair and understand that's how electricity travels,
it's
and this coil appears everywhere. It's not the universe and frequency doesn't travel in squares and rectangles, right? There's curves and coils and
there's
uh,
something that touches us. But before, because we're gonna have to do it again, before we get too far, because you know how we are when we get together. Give the address and the time and how people can find out where you're going to be. And
that's
we'll
what we
go
got to
back
do.
into some other
That is
conversations.
exactly
But
what we got to do. Now, listen, my family right here. I needed all y'all to come get your little. You ready? You got to go because on February 27th and 28th, I'll be at Stand Up New York. It shares a space with Bond 45, but it's called Stand Up New York. The address is 221 West 46th Street between 8th and B Way, and there are two shows on Friday and two shows on Saturday, 9 and 11. This is in a part of the Black Women in Comedy Festival. It's the seventh year, my first year, and I'm going to be again at Stand Up New York, called Still Funny, Still Fun. If you can go online and get your tickets right now, go online and get your tickets right now. Y'all don't wait till the last minute. That is not the way you want to do it.
when you say go
www.
online, where do they go? They go to
They go www.standupny.com, www.standupny.com, and get your tickets for February 27th or February 28th.
we're gonna do that again. But let's get back into what you were saying that this particular show or these shows, which there are four of them. And one of the things,
Yes.
let me tell, even though there are four shows, because I've been to Phyllis's shows, and when there were two, I saw one, and then when I stayed for the second one, it was a whole different show.
I
So,
tell people,
so,
yeah, you can't. People say,
so
well, what is your, because those guys, you see some of those guys. I'm not calling any names, but they do the same thing. And yes, there's material that where people still want to hear Power of the Booty. I might. Some of the old stuff, I might. But the reality for me is that I get the mic so rarely if I'm not in control of it. So that this time I'm ready to play. I said that when my mother was alive, she's an ancestor now. I didn't use profane. I was what I call conscious comedian. I do
mhm.
conscious comedy. One of the reasons Dick Gregory liked, I called me his favorite female comedian in the book, uh, The Last Mile by Sheila Moses on page 83 or 85. I wouldn't know, but to hear what he said about me was something. Um, um, I have to come back, and in this show, I get a chance to talk about things that I probably didn't talk about because mom was alive, right? And I didn't want to I didn't want to traumatize her about the things that I'd seen in my life, right? She was already traumatized because I left home at 16 people. I'm just saying, and I survived. So the stories that I can tell now are some of the
You
stories
told some
like.
of those stories, which are funny too. But anyway,
So I'm gonna see everybody on February 27th or February 28th at Stand Up New York. It shares a space with Bond 45. I've been getting that question a lot. It shares a space with Bond 45, which is in a lovely Italian restaurant. But at nighttime, it becomes Stand Up New York. And all you got to do is go to www.standupny.com. You see it right there and get your tickets for Friday night or Saturday.
so I know that you tend to be who you are when you get on stage, but I know that when I was listening to some of your promotional stuff, you was talking about certain things that you wanted to catch people up with as to where you are now in your life and the like. Can you share any of that with us?
Yeah, I'm the publishing part. I love the poetry. I love the expression. I call it, spoken word. They call it now. I said it was poetry when I wrote it, but okay, we won't argue. I'm going to be launching my website, PhyllisYvonneStickney.com, and with a Shopify. Some of the pieces I'm looking here. This is one of the first pieces that I ever beaded. when I lost this contract with Disney, when 9/11 happened, they were going to take my clothes. We were in meetings about taking my resort wear to the resorts. And when I got back and was devastated, I had all these stones, all these gemstones. This is malachite, jade, hematite, and silver, with just a few uh, uh, clear quartz crystal. But it was the intricacy. So I have all the pieces that I've made have been sold, but in March I'll be coming back, probably Women's History Month. I'm working to add that to the site. But some things I tell people, if you want to take a little piece of me home, things that I've saved over the years, save it over the years, for your lobby or your foyer or for your office or whatever. So I'm going to be launching that, and then some e-books and audio books. But we'll talk about the publishing because I am actively, because I have such a small team, and I want to thank them. I want to thank you, Tony, again, and you, Matt, for saying yes. But I'm grateful to Mr. Blake. I'm grateful to Ms. Snodgrass and the people who've been in my life. Kimberly's been in my cipher for a while. Asi Bay came in October a year ago. It's been just over a year, and so we're looking to do some more positive things and some more exciting things, like keeping me on the stage. And we're going to launch my not-for-profit, the Faith Walk Family Foundation. There's a building that I've acquired, and I'd like to.
That's in the South, right? That's where you're
In
living.
the South, right? In the South. I'm back and forth. I'm here now for a little bit longer and a little bit longer each time because things are getting a little bit clearer for me as to which way to move and how to move and whom to move with. Because you have to be very careful. I've done New York, I've done LA, so I'm really very cautious. But I'm excited. So that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about things that I couldn't talk about when Mama was here. Look, some little things I had did. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want Mama to be weird. So that's what I'm going to be launching: my website, my Shopify, and my audiobooks, and finding the right publisher. I have 3 books that I've already written. 2 are fiction and 1 is nonfiction. 1 is a romantic comedy with a sci-fi twist. And and the other is about a universe where everyone is gifted or special abilities. And one young lady decides that even though she's to get married in a particular way, as they've always done since the first days, she wants to find her love another way. And so we take that journey with her. So these are things that I've written, and more poetry, and a 5-city tour that we're working on right now, getting all of the ducks lined up, if you will, to do a 5-city tour, and hopefully that will grow into a national tour.
Well, you're going to be busy.
I have to be. I need to be.
You know something? And I've never mentioned this to you before, and you probably don't even remember it. But before, I believe you were going to Hollywood, or you were going to something that was going to be pretty big. You were a little nervous, and at that time, I had a clinic on 122nd Street, and I gave you a treatment.
You did.
And you got up and says, "Damn, I feel much better."
Yeah.
I say that because you still owe me the $50.
Listen, that's why I'm on the stage. I want to pay all my debts, okay? I want to pay everybody that I owe. It's not people that I didn't tell them. Not people that I have people that just submit me invoices that I didn't even approve. They go, you owe me this. So I'm not talking about them crazy people. I'm talking about, that's why I'm going on the stage. That's the real reason. Let's get it right. Let's add that part. I owe Tony. I owe Phyllis. I got a couple people. What's her name?
You have paid me so in being a friend and a sister, and letting me brag my behind off, because when I see you, I know her. You know, matter of fact, she owe me money. You see with Bruce Willis and all of them. I know her. She come from.
Oh,
and I love you.
Thank you
But
so much.
I'm
Yes,
just happy.
that
I'm
was
just
that
happy
was a
you.
very unique treatment as well. That was something innovative. You're one of the few people I remember that's trained in that technique. And that, yeah, I do remember that. So yeah, I have to get an appointment. I have to
But
reschedule. Get my
but
$50 together. My
you
75.
you have you have done so many things, and what I'm hearing, you are in the midst of doing so many wonderful things. But what is impressed? What I'm just noticing this too. This is live. This is not something that I had written down. Coming from northern Ghana and seeing how people react to each other and how they are, and hearing you talk is such. I mean, you got that. You got that the spirit that you have for those who might not know, and I'm saying it because I am now an ambassador in a place that had been cut off from the colonizer for 100 years. So they didn't really get. They didn't. They didn't get. I mean, they might not have had all of the stuff that they have in the Accra and other places, but they had each other. They traded. They still do stuff, and they start look. And they respected the
Yes,
things
that's the
that
currency. We are the wealth.
the things that we
Not that
felt
piece
bad
of
about,
paper. Not that paper. We are the wealth. That's
and
what
they
they understand. That's what
but
they still understand.
understanding that we were beautiful. That's the thing. It would not even come into one of the sisters' mind there that I'm ugly because I'm black. What? I mean, that and for you to be able to do that, I think is such an inspiration for young people to hear your story. Um, some of the stories that you could say that the stories that your mom will be mad about, but
Oh, listen,
so your
they wouldn't
podcast
do
and the
not
stuff
want
that
to
you're
know
doing.
about. Oh my God, Weldon Arthur McDougall III. See, the sound of Philadelphia. Some of the people are too young to remember that, but just to watch, to talk about then with the way it was then and now,
Mhm.
music then and music now. But to have been there, to remember the first time I met Richard Pryor, to remember the first time that I met Dick Gregory, to remember the first time that I cussed out. How I got the role of New Jack City was I was supposed to play Pookie, and when I heard that they were in Harlem doing a film, and I went on the set and realized that it was that movie, and I
Grand
went
and
to
Grand Stew.
I was like, so what's my role? I was like, I was like, what we doing? I know we in Harlem doing a movie and I'm not in it. And that's how I got Miss Hawkins. So there's a little, there's some interesting story. The whole thing, what happened with how I how I had to beg to audition for Rage in Harlem and Bill Duke. I thank Bill Duke to this day. I appreciate Bill Duke because he said to them, he was truthful with me afterwards, but he said to them in my presence, this is my 50s woman because the black casting director kept fighting. She didn't want me to audition. And she actually said this. I'm gonna tell y'all this, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. This black woman had the nerve to say when my agent kept asking her to let Phyllis Stickney audition for the role of Annabelle, which was the lead that Robin Gibbons ultimately portrayed, and there was pushback. But finally, he called me in and said, "Listen, I'm gonna ask her one more time, Phyllis, but I don't want to ruin my relationship with this casting person because I keep insisting that you go in to audition for the role." He says, "But I'm gonna go one time. I'm gonna go one more time, but I need you in here so you can hear what I'm getting." So fast forward to we're in his office. He's got it on speaker. He's letting me hear the conversation. When he asked the woman, "What is your resistance?" What she's willing to fly herself to New York for the audition for the callback. Why are you so resistant? And this is what the woman said. Come on, Peter. The role calls for an attractive African American woman. I mean, can Phyllis Stickney be sexy? So, when I tell you about my experiences, darling, what I've been through, darling, how I've survived, how I've overcome, how I be positive, even my blood screams it, be positive, be positive. I better, otherwise, I would be a serial killer with a number across my chest. So, listen, still funny, still fun. I will see you Friday, February 27th, or Saturday, February 28th at Stand Up New York, 221 West 46th Street. Come and get your laughter, get your medicine with your girl, the Empress of Entertainment.
Phyllis Stickney, Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. It's always a pleasure. You're always going to be that right side of me. I think of some of the things. Sometimes, I'm walking down the street and I see uh, some of the sisters, and it reminds me of some of the. I remember you said you had a skit. You said there was the eyelashes that you can see the eyelashes before you see the person.
Right, you do something a
Before,
little demure. Got brooms hanging out there. Hey, what's going on? Looking like the dolls that don't. What? So that's what I said. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about our fashion. We got to talk a little bit. We got to, how many baby daddies in the baby mama's business. We need to talk just a little bit about a few things and what is really going on. What is really going on in the world today? What is really going on? Technology has changed the game. We got these little babies that's born with USBs on their thumbs. I can't. I won't. I will see you. I will see you February 27th, February 28th, family. Come to Stand Up New York. It shares the space with Bomb 45. I thank you, Tony. I thank you, Matt. I thank my team and those who love me and all those people who have prayed prayers for me to come back. The diva's back. Still
well,
funny.
she's
Still
back.
fine.
Well, thank you, Phyllis Stickney. And if anyone, do you have a website
We're
or
building it.
email?
That's what we're going to launch. So when they come, it'll, I launched it on Facebook, but that's when we come back, it will have been
Yep.
launched. When we do our
So we'll,
second one, we will
we'll,
launch it. We're
of course,
launching
you're
it
going to be back
MLK
at
weekend,
some
actually.
point.
We're launching it MLK weekend. So
So,
that's when
so,
we're launching it. Thanks for asking. We're
so
launching it
we'll
MLK,
make
so
sure to reschedule.
PhyllisYvonneStickney.com.
We'll
That will be
schedule.
my name. That'll be my name. The
We'll,
website, my name.
we'll be. You'll be here then. And so, for those who want to know, you'll know where to go. Thank you, my dear. I
Thank
appreciate you
you. Thank you. I
always.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Take care.
Peace, peace.
Um, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. But if you enjoyed this, you should see her live. It's even more enjoyable. One of the things that I also want to mention before I leave is that this is the 40th anniversary of WHCR. And there will be a DJ marathon fundraiser this Friday, Saturday, and I believe maybe Sunday. So tune in to WHCR 90.3 FM or WHCR.org. This whole month, you'll start hearing a number of things, including a major jazz fundraising that we're going to do in April. So a lot coming up, a lot of things that we want to talk to you about. Oh yeah, the 100th anniversary of the Savoy is in March, I think March 12th. So we're going to be doing some things with that. And lastly, the Green Apple Guide is a magazine that the Harlem Tourism Board has launched in January. You'll hear a lot more about the Green Apple Guide, but it's a way of connecting a lot of the diaspora and focusing again on some of the major things that are happening in Harlem, which I am beginning to label the third Harlem Renaissance with all of the things that are going on. So stay tuned to Urbanology. There's a lot of stuff happening. This is a #1 year, so there are a lot of different things, and still have to give you some updates on what's happening in Northern Ghana. So we'll talk more about that. And as always, I'd like to thank Matt and Jasmine and everybody who are part of the Soul City team that allows for me to have this platform. Thank you, and see you next week. Take care. Bye.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.